Howdy, guys.
Alright, I assume my mic's still working, and yours isn't too bad right
Oh
now.
no.
So,
Oh, that's good.
alright, so whenever this starts, we can sort of just explain like movements, so like the strafing and all that. But other than strafing, there's no real like speed tech besides like a few skips here and there.
Yeah, the tech overall is pretty basic. It's not really super hard to explain. Oh, we're live, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, we're both sounding good. PogChamp. Basically, overall, World at War is a very harsh game. One of the harder Call of Duty games compared to most of them. With Modern Warfare 2 questionably being the easiest game, World at War falls in the line of like the most difficult COD game to speedrun because of the fact that Treyarch was just becoming a fresh thing when it started coming out. So they didn't really understand like difficulty balancing. So the difference between like veteran and recruit is just how well the AI interacts with you. So like on veteran, they'll continuously throw nades if you're behind cover or laser pointer you, but in recruit, they just won't throw enough nades, but they can still like do stuff like they will do in veteran where they'll intently run to melee you or start shooting you and take you down all the way to health even though it's on recruit. So World at War is one of the hardest COD games.
Yeah, just like the AI being janky. Like I remember when I was streaming the game like 4 months ago-ish, I have a clip where I was on, pretty sure it was hard landing, and one of the bonsai chargers did not get off me, and he just smacked me repetitively until I almost died. And with that being recruit, the AI being that harsh on you, it's a little like weird. And then there's veteran where you get smacked once and you're instantly dead. So that's why most people run it on recruit, because even though it's not like super friendly, it's
More
way,
friendly.
way, way better.
Like I think one of these staples for World at War is just how bad the AI is, where they'll just continuously throw grenades at you until you die. And that's like completely true. There's like no lie in that. They intently try to kill you.
Yeah, and
And
usually on like most levels there are ways to like sort of move around the AI, but typically if you're going for like optimum strats, you're just like beelining and just hoping you don't get sprayed down by bullets.
yeah, one of the levels that we all despise is Little Resistance because there's a set corner that it just horrifies everybody who runs the game because that corner is just a death trap. There's like two enemies that block the way. There's two enemies that instantly start bonsaiing you once you get there. There's three enemies at the end of the hallway, and there's a red barrel that they can shoot and instantly kill you. And that's all in the span of like 5 seconds. So, uh, it is one of the worst parts of this game. Like,
Oh yeah, when you hear us say bonsai chargers, I'm pretty sure bonsai chargers are only in the American half of the playthrough, but they're you'll just hear them scream bonsai, and they sprint after you with a bayonet, and they can either just smack you relentlessly, like I was saying, or they can put you into like an animation where they shove you on the floor, and it's like a quick time event to not die instantly.
yeah. A lot of people remember from like Modern Warfare 2 with like the dogs charging you and biting you. So that's kind of like the gist, but instead of dogs, it's just guys with like a long swords trying to stab them into you. And
Oh non, c'est
sometimes they'll have swords, I believe. Sometimes they'll just have a gun with a bayonetta at the end.
salut à tous.
So
On
hopefully
se retrouve
Gold
après une
doesn't
petite
have really bad little
visite
resistance RNG.
rogatoire.
Yeah, as for most runs I've done, I've gotten screwed over by low resistance.
Tu continues à
Ouais.
parler ou...
Oh, vas-y, vas-y.
Oh yeah, here it is, it's up.
Vas-y, excuse-moi.
Donc ouais, je vais vous présenter une run de World at War, donc je vais jouer en easy, donc en l'any% en easy. J'ai mis
Okay, yeah, he's about to start soon. So
d'1h45.
Alright, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, just about half and half on half of the campaign being American missions and half of it being Russian.
yeah. Well, Russian has a little bit more missions comparatively, I believe.
Ils avaient déjà bossé sur une
No, I think it is about a half and a half. Eh?
la version
Yeah, 8 American, 7 Russian. Wow.
Wow.
le premier
I've never really paid attention to which one's which, I just play through.
A lot of people like the Russian side of the story better because it's just way more entertaining.
Yeah, agreed. Especially with still my favorite character in gaming of all time, Victor Reznov.
Yeah, it's just a staple of the Call of Duty community. I mean,
timer il commence
the Call of Duty,
cinématique.
Franchise.
yeah, franchise.
À la fin de la cinématique.
Oh, if anyone has any questions during the run, we can stop and answer them because of the fact that this game is just basically explaining manipulations and other things like that, but most of the time it's blandly just don't die because of how bad the AI acts. So he's loading into Simplify with the beginning being about like a minute and a half, and then the level starts. So goal during this whole section is going to be manipulating how he strafes. Strafing in gist is the way that runners gain speed, and I'm pretty sure he has a V meter up. I'm not fully sure, but
Yeah, I
in
imagine that's
gist,
what that is.
yeah, in gist, running speed's about 275 with a pistol, and there's a Type 100 at the start of this level, which also has that speed because certain SMGs have the same speed as pistols, but others don't.
C'est bien, on commence à 20h45.
But
J'ai vu que t'avais fait un
the
peu plus
way
de temps.
strafing works is you're trying to go X and Y axis, X and Y, no, north, what? God damn. I don't know my directions. Basically, you're trying to go left and right at the exact same time, or like left and up at the same time. So you kind of want to do like a curved curved angle in the air to gain speed. And once you actually hit that point, you can get up to about 300 speed, and yes, it's the V meter, so that's blessed. But if you can see, he's running at like 285 to 90 at the start while just running. Certain times you can gain speed while running forward and just jumping, and you'll gain a huge amount of speed. But if you're watching right there, he did a small strafe, and he's getting up to like 280, which isn't like a great strafe, but he's also getting like 300s. And getting into this first yeah, god dang it, I keep I'm sorry, y'all. Basically, getting into this first section, you have to just kill the guys at the start, especially the dude that's on the turret inside the building. Because if you don't actually kill him like fairly soon, he will just start gunning you down and killing you. And if you don't um, do that, you basically just kills your run because the first checkpoint is actually at the start of the game.
Car on voulait attaquer une base.
Yeah, so under like basically perfect conditions, strafing can actually get you up fairly high in speed, but those are pretty hard to reach on a normal basis while also trying to not get shredded by AI. But see, a lot of this game is sort of just waiting for friendly AI to catch up and not getting screwed over by enemy AIs, such as this portion right here.
Yeah. If you didn't see, the dude that got blew up by, I think,
Ah ouais,
I
mais
don't know what he got
c'est.
blew up by, but the dude that got blown up, he had walked away, and the dude that was to his left, there was that whole section where they're all lined up. That's actually one barrier block, and you're not supposed to go past them. But you see Gold actually snake his way beside the tree and the next dude, because once he moves, a lot of the AI's blocks go back to their normal positions, and that's like a little bit of a time save instead of waiting for them to move and you can run by. In this section, it's actually just based on how fast you actually kill people. And Gold did an extremely well off. He did like a 219 for solo, which is very rare where a 210 is like optimal for co-op. So a lot
Yeah,
of people
so
you can go. You can go.
So yeah, there's a decent amount of those portions where you just try and kill as many enemies as quickly as possible, because a lot of that, the enemies will shoot at your friendly, your, I guess, teammates. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but they can get hurt. There are a few situations where your friendly AI can actually die, but usually it just sort of slows them down and they stumble. So obviously that's not very optimal. So just killing enemies or just trying to get your AI to catch up with you is a lot what'll help you get a certain triggers faster and essentially just get to the end of the level.
Oh, nice. He didn't get the robot soft lock at the start with the truck. So there's an ability which is amazing. If you saw that gold ran past all the enemies and killed the dude that's on the turret, then continuously walked to the truck, the moment you reach the truck, it actually kills all the enemies within the map. Well, if a teammate's shooting an enemy, he won't actually despawn because he doesn't have a complete health cycle, and that's the only time that they'll actually die. And he got really lucky that Roebuck or Polanski didn't shoot anybody during that section. And what he just did was he tried to clip through the enemy by crouching, but if you crouched and lay down, that is the most optimal way to clip through him, but it doesn't lose too much time. And a lot of people think you have to stand next to the bomb while planting the charge, but you can actually just walk out of the room and wait at the top of the stairs, and that saves like a little bit of time.
Yeah, so here at the end of the mission, there's mainly just, I'd say for the next like 3.5 minutes, it's mainly just cutscenes, leaving this level on a boat and then entering the next level on a boat, which there's a lot of boat riding in this game, it seems like, for no
Je
reason.
pense que c'est plus
Yeah,
la
it's
voix que
either
le
boats or
son, je pense.
planes or
Yeah.
trains.
Yeah.
Boats, planes, and trains. And a tank. You basically
Sur le
ride
chat, hein, de toute
everything
façon,
in
c'est
this game.
le chat qui vous dit
Yeah.
oui, ça va, ou non,
And
ça
then
va
at
pas.
one
Hein.
point, you ride a waterfall. Well, I wouldn't call that a waterfall, would you? On eviction.
I don't even know, honestly.
So Little Resistance, it's one of these levels that's practically just a meme for a lot of us because of the fact that the boat ride is about a minute and a half and the level's about 2 minutes long. Like with our timing method of the timing method is when you gain control and the end of the level card stream.
Oh, j'ai
So
trouvé ta voix, apparemment, elle est vraiment très
based
très
off of
fort.
that, the time for the level is about 2 minutes
Désolé, hein,
and like 10 seconds averagely.
on profite, on est en cinématique, on a le temps.
Yeah, the in-game time, most cutscenes are considered loads. So like this, we have a auto splitter and a load remover that would remove this
Ça bouge le micro.
from the overall time. But there are a lot of just like chilling in cutscenes like this for the game. Especially, I'm pretty sure more early on. There isn't quite as many later on.
Comme on dit, hein, c'est le film du, c'est le film du samedi dimanche soir, un petit peu une journée
Yeah,
en avance.
later in the run, there's not as many of these sections where
C'est
you
cool pour
just
les
have to
bâtiments,
sit and wait for a
vraiment,
cutscene.
c'est
The
pas la
only
fin du
major
monde.
ones are, I'm sorry,
Ouais.
the only major ones are Blowtorch and Corkscrew, and
Profitez-en pour
what's
regarder.
that one? Keep forgetting its name always. Oh, there it is, Breaking Point. Those are the only two with like a little bit of a cutscene section, but they're not as bad as Little Resistance or Semperfi is.
Although I would beg to argue that easily like the most hated level in this entire run is called Black Cats, and it's essentially just 11 minutes of chilling in a plane, shooting. It's almost hard to die in the level, so it's more or less just a cutscene. But right here, what you see Gold doing, he's normally you're not supposed to storm up the beach during those explosions, but if you wait a little bit and go on the right side of the beach, you can actually get up and just get up to the beach a little bit quicker. But right here, he's essentially just going past, and like we were saying before, the AI can definitely screw him over, like right here too. So he's going to be throwing some smokes to just try not to die.
Here's
But
this corner I was talking about where the enemies spawn in, and there's that red barrel with the 3 enemies. We usually just shoot it. Oh, I really thought he was about to get meleeed from behind because of
Yeah,
him going for that knife.
yeah, that
You do
knife was
not,
ballsy.
yeah, you do not want to go for a knife on that corner because the dude
Après,
that's standing
ça a de la
behind you will
chance. Après, faut
instantly
pas oublier
kill
qu'on a
you.
recru,
Like
donc recru, ça peut te
he's
permettre de rusher
not in
plus
the
loin. Ouais.
for you, and he'll just instantly start laser pointing you.
Melee, ils peuvent te one-shot.
So here at the end of this mission,
Allez,
oh, there's an
melee,
enemy behind him.
violent.
Uh-oh.
He
All right.
didn't place down the turret thing, the airstrike.
Yeah, so what he has to do here is he has to clear this little area of enemies and then airstrike 2 tanks, and then it essentially just triggers dialogue that finishes the mission. But also at the end of the mission, one of the main characters, pretty sure it's Sergeant Miller, uh, he
Yeah,
sort of just kind of dies. He gets stabbed by, pretty sure it's a bonsai charger, but he just gets ambushed at the very end.
yeah, and there's comparing single player to co-op. In co-op, this is the only level where every player has an airstrike. So this whole section can go by super quickly if it's perfectly. He didn't kill the one guy at the bottom of the pit. That
Oh,
sucks.
oh, it's Sergeant Sullivan, not Miller. You're Private Miller. Jesus,
Oh
you
God.
play as Miller. Yeah, Sergeant Sullivan dies here.
Yeah, we apologize. Oh, and like I said before, if anyone has any questions, we're free to answer. Like this game is like there's a lot to talk about, but we can stop at any point if anyone has any questions about any level or AI stuff. Hard landing, which is the level we're going into next, is actually very basic in in explanation, but it is super hard because of certain corners. This would be probably one of the harder levels because of the fact that there's a corner after the swamp bit where there's just like a huge amount of enemies. There's like 3 bonsai chargers, and they can all just instantly start laser pointing you, kill you.
Yeah, I'd say a good amount. Like, honestly, probably about 50% of my resets have been literally this corner right here. Just because how slow you walk, plus those bonsai charges. Yeah, that animation right there is what I was talking about. And funnily enough, that animation you get put in by those bonsai chargers can actually be used. As far as we know, there's no way of making it so it actually turns into a skip, but there are a few places where you can get out of bounds using those dudes because during that animation they displace your hitbox a little bit.
There's actually a slight chance, which has happened, if you're on a slope and you get bonsai'd, you can actually clip into the ground, and it's basically a soft lock, but that's extremely rare. And if you saw what Gold, he kind of looked like he was being, like, he got confused. He was actually trying to find a type 100 that spawns in after killing an enemy. Well, it's the same thing as when you get bonsai on a corner. If the enemy dies on a lift or a ridge, the gun will just straight fall to the end of the map and won't be able to be picked up. So that's why he was kind of scrambling to find it.
Yeah, he's sort of like laying down right here because if he were to peek out, yeah, those dudes right in there in that bunker, they can shred you down very quickly. But what he's doing right here is what he's supposed to do is grab the flamethrower from the teammate that dies behind him, but instead he can destroy the barrels so he can get into that bunker quicker and not have to grab the flamethrower. So yeah, running through here, he essentially you run past through. Actually, there's a building up here. If you guys know the zombies map, Nocturne Totem, the very first zombies map in Call of Duty Zombies. It's the same exact building from that. But right after this building, he storms
Moi,
a
je trouve que
little
déjà sur le
airfield,
c'est peut-être ça le souci en
tries
plus.
to destroy a few tanks, and then there's a final sequence where he just tries to hold out and not get overwhelmed by enemies, but it's fairly simple.
Ooh, he got double meleeed and lived. Oh my god, that's super rare.
Yeah, inside this building, it can be really difficult. There are a lot of enemies, especially
One of
with,
the
I'm pretty sure, mostly Type 100, so you can get shredded quick.
Yeah, Type 100 is like the best gun to run for this whole game, and you'll always see us go out of our way to find it. Is it the PPH, the one for Russians?
Yeah, PPSH is also one of the best because I'm pretty sure they both have the highest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they both have the highest sprinting speed. Plus, they both have a really good damage output.
So what
Dans
just
le
happened
coup,
there was Gold
dans le
ran
coup, petite
to the
solution, on va
pit to
tester
not die. The
comment on
tanks actually are meant to start lasering
généralement, on devrait
you
t'entendre.
if you go too far, but if you get to the pit fast enough, you won't die. And if you saw, Gold was taking a second to God dang it, I'm sorry. He was taking a second to wait for the
Bah,
tanks to
vas-y,
get into
essaye
a
de
set
conduire,
position to
on va voir ce
shoot,
que du
because
Là,
if
on
you
a
shoot them
quelqu'un,
beforehand, they won't
un
actually
émetteur
explode
déjà
or take any damage. So that's why you saw him take a small break.
et,
And in this part, you only have to kill 3 of the tanks, but each one takes 2 shells. But sometimes these shells will just deflect off or not hit them. So it's a little bit of an art to hit all of them with only 2 shells.
And actually, it is possible to do this section without destroying any tanks. And actually, for the longest time there, I actually did this entire section without that. But little did I know it's actually way slower because at the end of the mission, you have to wait for Roebuck and I forget who else to catch up with you. But with the tanks shooting at them, they kind of stumble around, like I was saying before, and they move very, very slow.
Yeah, there's actually a soft lock here that can happen, but I'm pretty sure Gold went fast enough not to get it. Where if you go too slow, Roebuck and Pulaski can get stuck on a truck, and they just won't continuously walk, and they'll just be stuck there for the rest of eternity. To get past it, you have to restart the whole level, which is in a basic speedrun a reset, but in a marathon can't really reset. So you have to restart the level. But he didn't get it.
je vais baisser le
Yeah, and with a lot of the AI in this game, there's a lot of just weird, not quite understood soft locks just because the AI doesn't make the best decisions all the time. And a lot of those tend to come in the American campaign, especially with Roebuck, because Roebuck is kind of a dumb dude.
Ah ouais, j'ai encore
For
baissé
this section, he actually has to kill a lot of the enemies, and
pas, mais
for the time being, a lot of people, we didn't really understand how to get the trucks to spawn because of there's 2 trucks that spawn, which that just happen. But there's an easy possibility to get the third one to spawn if you throw a grenade to the left and blow up all the enemies the moment they spawn. The second, third, and first truck all spawn at the exact same time, and the planes that fly overhead the second pass instantly come in, and it saves like 5 to 10 seconds compared to waiting for the truck. But this whole section's based off of shooting and killing the enemies,
Yeah,
which he
so in this section to pass, you don't need to kill the enemies, but they can be a pain and just sort of shred your HP. But your main like final goal is to just destroy all the trucks and tanks, and it'll trigger the planes to fly overhead and kill everything.
voilà, dès qu'il y a la musique, on peut s'arrêter de tirer.
Yeah, so right here, like the planes coming in and shooting down napalm, which is triggering the end of the level, and this upcoming level is honestly, personally, my favorite, and it's the first Russian mission in the entire campaign.
with the ending of Hard Landing, it's majorly based off of just killing the enemies and not specifically the tanks, but the trucks actually have a huge amount of enemies. That's why you instantly gun them down. And there's a pole that if you try to shoot them before they reach that pole, they can't actually take damage. So you want to shoot them once they pass that pole that was on the right.
C'est le premier out of bound qu'on va voir de la run.
Yeah, so this mission, it's intended to be a lot about stealth, and for the first part of it, it'll mainly be stealth. And what we normally do here, we follow Reznov. Then our main goal is to uh, eventually assassinate what's his name,
Le style, les mouvements qui se jouent.
General Amsel. I'm pretty sure his name is. Uh, So what you would normally do is you would go throughout the level as normal, trying to be stealthy, not get overwhelmed by tanks and enemies. Because if you shoot once, it's basically a recipe for disaster. Because you'll get stormed. But you would go through buildings normally, trying to avoid gunfire, avoid dogs, flamethrowers, and then eventually get a high ground and then assassinate General Amsel. But instead, what we sort of do is just go out of bounds, trigger the spawn of Amsel, stab him or shoot him because we're out of bounds and we're right where he spawns. And for some reason, that teleports us to the final like cutscene, or not cutscene, the final sequence of this level, skipping like or saving probably about five five-ish minutes. Nobody really knows because it's such a well-known skip. It's fairly
Do you skip?
difficult, but it's definitely fairly possible a soft lock, and when it does, it's really frustrating. But uh, it's fairly well known, and it saves a lot of time, so nobody does this level the long way.
The skip itself was found back in like 2009 or 2008, and there's actually an achievement where you have to shoot the general with a pistol, and a lot of people couldn't do it, so they resorted to using the skip. So a lot of people believe that they left it in for the intent of being used like that, but we really don't know because Activision doesn't answer a lot of questions about like game development for certain things like this. Activision and Treyarch, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so right here, he's waiting for the planes to pass overhead so he can kill these dudes. And the planes being overhead, they sort of just drown out your shot. So you can kill them without alerting anybody and essentially just dying. So now everybody's dead, so you and Reznov just sort of leave this fountain where you guys were left to die. And a lot of it is just like dialogue waiting for Reznov just to stop talking, honestly.
There is a way to skip all of this dialogue, but a lot of runners don't use. Oh, did Gold get spotted?
Oh,
Nah, he's
I
fine.
think so.
Because Reznov usually doesn't stick behind that truck unless you get spotted.
Oh.
Like he usually will go to it, then say, "Let's move," and then he'll instantly run. So I thought he got stuck. But there's a way to skip this whole dialogue sequence by shooting the enemies that spawn it. But a lot of runners don't do it because it's a huge risk strat. Because if Reznov even gets hit once, the level restarts from last checkpoint. But if you actually were to successfully do it and save a huge amount of time, it would save about 10 to 15 seconds compared to waiting for him to do all of his voices. Because after killing all of them, he'll just say, "Let's move again," and he'll run to the door and kick it open, and he won't say anything else.
Oh, that's news to me. Time to go get IL world record.
You were there when I found that out.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, so this part up here, they eventually get shot at by a sniper, so they're gonna take cover in the building and try and find the sniper, but I'm pretty sure it's 1 in 20 chance that he gets a good RNG and can get a technically like a 0 cycle kill on him.
Yeah. Well, each window you see up there has the ability for him to spawn on it 2 times, one for each direction of the window, so that's left and right. But there's about 4 windows that he can spawn on, and if he spawns in that position, uh, you can instantly without having to wait. But I don't think Gold got it. But you're supposed to go to the window to the left to see him at the angle. So I don't know why he's sitting back.
I don't know, it. Oh, there we go. God,
Oh,
I
he at
swear
least
I
got
like
an
never get
overshot.
that. Yeah, whenever I Whenever I do runs and I don't get the good RNG, I swear I can never hit him on first cycle. So here's a skip up here. It just looks like he's just jumping randomly, but it's fairly precise, and if he screws up, he could end up falling in soft locking, which is a no bueno.
Ooh, he almost did it.
Yeah,
Uh, you can
there
tell
we
he
go.
almost did it because his feet barely clipped on top of the staircase, and he didn't do that. He would fall straight down, and if you saw in the top left corner, it said checkpoint reached, and that checkpoint will keep you inside that like pit section. And here's where the out of bounds checkpoint is, where you have to stick outside and then come back in to the map plate. Oop, yep, he got it. He looked like he was a little to the right for it, but it seemed to work. And this is what we were talking about, where you can shoot him or knife him, and here's like the funniest moment about it
Yeah,
is where you just teleport way back over there to the end of the level.
yeah, it just like launches him. No idea why it does that, but it sort of just teleports him to the end.
C'était pas loin.
Yeah. Oh, oh, jeez, almost died there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
those
very.
enemies right there, especially with the building being shot with the tank, they can be really unforgiving and just shred you down. But thankfully, that didn't happen.
He's doing a really good job in not dying.
Yeah,
Like getting a deathless run past like the first 3 levels is basically just super RNG, and the fact that he's made it to Vendetta without dying is super amazing.
Tot stinken sie noch erbärmlicher. Sofort lasst uns hier verschwinden, bevor sie nochmal angreifen. Töten wir sie. Genau wie diese dreckigen Schweine.
Pour parler un peu du jeu, donc
alright, so this level, Their Land, Their Blood, essentially, it's another Russian mission, but I don't really know too much about like the actual like story of this level, but you're following Reznov and taking the battle to Durland, which is essentially in the words of Reznov. And this level is also home to the personally my favorite line in the game, even though Kuno might disagree, but it's really funny. This is why I love Reznov so much. He's just such a funny character. He says some really funny lines. But a lot of this level will just be strafing, running past enemies, and hoping not to die. And like Kuno was saying before, picking up a PPSH right there, which is essentially the Type 100 equivalent in the Russian campaign. But yeah, he's going to be strafing through here, getting pretty good peaks and hoping not to die. Taking the left path up here because it's just faster.
Who's who's Egg? Hi Kluger. I don't know why he's calling us eggs.
Calling me egg, but
Ah,
so up here in this section can be really unforgiving, especially up past these trenches. So let's hope he doesn't get goofed up by enemies,
if he
as this
sticks
is
to
another section like that.
if he sticks to the far right, he won't actually die because the AI. They accidentally left a barrier in there, and they can't actually hit you
Oh.
if you stick to the right, which he did.
Well,
He got
that
after you reach a certain point, they can start lasering you, and he
yeah.
got to that point, and they started lasering him. And this is what we were talking about, bad checkpoint system, where he was way further ahead, but the checkpoint's all the way back. And Activision still does this in like current games, where the checkpoints will just be completely like irrelevant to where you are. Sometimes they'll even just checkpoint you back all the way to the start of the game in certain cases, but overall, Treyarch and Activision recently have gotten into like the habit of giving you more friendly checkpoints.
So right here, what he's doing is he's essentially just standing on the spawn of a Panzerschreck, but he's going to be destroying these tanks as quickly as possible to progress through this mission. I believe you have to. You're supposed to destroy 4 tanks, and then a 5th tank comes out, and you're supposed to destroy it. And then it sends you into like sort of a cutscene. But if you sort of just hop through a window in the barn, you can just run away and skip that cutscene.
Yeah, the final fifth tank isn't mandatory, but we're not too sure if it's like a time save or not. So you'll always see like some runners do and some runners not because we can't really tell because there's a lot of RNG at the end of the game based off of like enemy placements, how fast you strafe and stuff like that. So a lot of runners will just do it, but some won't, and it just depends on how they feel about it. But the window skip he's talking about actually is a little bit a very perfect jump to do, where you have to crouch in midair and push yourself through. And this same idea is used later on in the game to clip into a window about the same height. And it's very, it's actually somewhat hard to learn and get consistent, but once you learn it, it's super easy to do because of the consistency.
Yeah, like Kuno was talking about with the end of this mission, and similar to what I was talking about before, a lot of the time save is just hoping your AI is friendly and doesn't get shot at a bunch, because I'd say about most cases for people, the last like 30 or so seconds of this level are more or less just waiting for Reznov and Chernov to catch up. So this is a jump right here. There he goes. Yeah, and like we were saying before, he's actually not destroying the tank, which we don't necessarily know if it's fast or not, but who knows?
Oh yeah. This whole part after he jumped through the window, you're supposed to be riding a tank into the end of the game, but Kluger just got a 122 on Modern Warfare 2 any percent. God.
Dang. Yeah, this section is also just hoping he doesn't get shredded by enemy bullets, just because, like, if you saw that rocket nearly hit him, those watchtowers can be frustrating, and he's going to be running essentially through crowds of enemies here, hoping that they don't shred him down. But yeah, picking up an MG42, interesting choice. But I don't necessarily blame him, he was pretty low on MP40 ammo.
What he was saying about the towers is some of the towers, even though the enemies inside will be killed, they will still shoot. He better not stick to that truck, he will explode. Oh no, he's fine. That truck can instantly kill you because of the explosion, because for some reason the explosion in this games count as actual like real like grenade explosions and stuff like that. So they can kill you. So like all the like rockets you see off in the distance, if you go into them, they will kill you. And it's super. Oh, he got really good Reznov RNG because he's not stuck. So what we were talking about earlier is the window skip saves like a uh tank ride into the final section, which is like a minute and a half tank ride. If he actually goes extremely slow on the strafing bit going to the final section, Reznov will sit on the tank and it will lose about 20 to 30 seconds. He's supposed to go stand next to Rez when he
Yeah,
does the speech. Yeah,
yeah, so
Reznov's
this is the end of the mission. Yeah, this is another instance of, or this level is another instance of glitchy AI, because there's also a soft lock in this mission where Reznov can just like not want to move for some reason. And next mission coming up is what is it? Burn 'em out, right? I can't tell. I don't read French.
uh yeah, next mission's burn him out.
So yeah, Burn 'em out, shortest level in the game. Also, sometimes one of the scariest just because annoying AI. So what he has to do is he has to go through and he's supposed to destroy 3 trenches with his flamethrower, but he can just entirely skip the first one because good game coding.
We
But
actually figured out you can skip the second one. Like we figured it out
ooh,
yesterday. Ooh,
yeah, that was
uh,
another instance of just like annoying AI.
yeah. And oh, he got like lucky and it checkpointed him after the beginning. Sometimes the checkpoints just won't work, even though they really should. And like I said earlier, they will checkpoint you at the start of the game. And this is like one of those cases.
Yeah, we talk a lot of smack on this game for having broken AI, but it's when running the game it can be frustrating, but overall it's not a garbage game like it sounds like you're making it out to be. Taking this section, so I don't blame him. This section right here especially littered with enemies that can just shred you down.
Yeah, and you're probably somewhat hearing them say it, but they're saying in French. They're saying bonsai charge, and this whole section is also littered with them, and all of them can kill you. And he almost just got hit by one, but he burned him last second.
Ah, les bonsaïs.
Oh yeah, you got stuck in one of those quick time events right there with one of them.
Yeah.
But overall, not too bad of a burnout. Even with the death, he got a pretty good checkpoint with it. And let's hope he isn't softlock, because Roebuck can softlock in this mission too for some reason.
Roebuck is one of the AIs that will always just soft lock for no reason, and we know why, but we can't really counteract it.
We talk about softlocks a lot, but they're not like an everyday occurrence. It's of them, but they definitely do exist, so they can be pointed out. But this next mission, Relentless,
Ça
uh,
aussi, c'est une mission difficile,
I
donc
do not like Relentless. It is
il faut essayer de
another enemy littered level.
c'est le but d'un speedrun aussi.
So the whole gist of this level is
Le but
you have to get onto AA guns at the very start and shoot down like 30 or 40 enemies. And during the whole time, they're not focused on your teammates. They're all focused on you. So they'll start throwing grenades and stuff because they believe that's its cover. And even on the easiest difficulty, if you're in cover for too long, they'll start throwing nades. So he might get really lucky and they won't throw any nades and he won't have to get off of it, but he might get extremely unlucky and they'll just throw 100 nades at him for practically no reason. But he's taking a very safe route, is where you go super far left to the AA gun because you can actually go up the middle, and it saves a little bit of time going up the middle because you don't kill as many enemies. But if you do, you can just instantly get lasered.
Ah, il veut mourir.
But
Yeah, so I actually didn't die there, which is luck yet. I actually have trouble recalling my last run where I didn't die on this level.
yeah, this level is one of the like most heartbreaking moments of this game because of the fact that
Aw,
like
shoot.
it has. Oh, he did die. That's not good. His checkpoint's gonna be like at before the AA gun. Yeah, but
C'est bon.
going after the first AA gun section, it is just brutal because afterwards you have to go to the second section where you have to kill a lot of the enemies. But if it's super hard to get there, and Gold's taking like a super safe route where you just shoot all the enemies and save, but you can actually throw smoke grenades and let it run through without having any problems. But all the while there are bonsai chargers and they're all running after him, so he has to play it extremely safe. But right now he fell down that hill. You can't actually run up that hill at all. You can do a strafe jump to get on top of it, the same that we do for like gaining movement. But it's super hard, and a lot of runners just will try to run past instead of just falling down, as it loses a lot of time because you have to run back behind that little section.
Pas de balle.
But in this little part, yeah, he has to actually kill everybody. We used to believe that you have to shoot the barrels for some reason, but it's actually the enemies that you have to kill, just like the first AA gun. And this is like one of the more brutal corners as well because it's just littered on enemies, but it's on both sides, and they all can laser you. But he's got like extremely lucky right there, and none of them shot him. So reaching this final point, there's a lot of enemies inside the tunnel, but some of them just won't spawn. If you go fast enough, they won't spawn in, and it saves a little bit of time because you don't have to kill. and Roebuck and Polanski will just run straight through, meet you at the end.
So my mic's been muted.
Yes, it has.
I've been talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But yeah, he got really good RNG, like Kuna was saying before. Most people end up dying on that last section, even though he died here. But that last section, it's really difficult to not die in it. But yeah, another janky checkpoint system right there. Yeah, I probably just want to take it a little bit more patient through here. But as far as I know, I don't know anyone else that's experienced it, but this is another level that I've soft locked on just because Roebuck, he's weird. But this room, I don't necessarily know if you have to clear it, but you may as well because you have to wait for Roebuck and Polanski to catch up to trigger the end of the level. Probably just one more enemy in here too.
Yeah. You actually have to wait for 3 people. You have to wait for Roebuck, Roebuck, Polanski, and the uh radio guy. Like he has a radio
Oh
strapped to
yeah,
his back, and
Rooker, yeah.
and all 3 of them can get stuck, and it just loses time. But I think he got good RNG and just have to wait for all of them. But I'm unsure because we only see 2 of them on his screen at the. But
Yeah,
I'm.
Roebuck is in there. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh
Oh god,
no.
if you look at his map, you can see him way all the way in the back getting shot.
Oh no.
Oh. Yeah, this is the type of RNG we were talking about where they'll just be way in the back and he probably has to go rescue them.
This might be a soft lock.
No, I don't think he got the soft lock.
Roebuck isn't up there. What? I'm pretty sure Roebuck might be out where the tanks are. That's happened to me.
The French runners, the French viewers are thinking that he soft locked. He
Yeah.
probably did. No, Roebuck's coming up finally. You can see him on the map. What just killed him? Oh,
He
he
suicided.
did. He suicided. If he would have waited like one more second, Roebuck was right there.
Was he actually?
Yeah,
Oh.
you could see him running up on the map. I just want to go into his chat and be like, bruh, he was there. He was coming.
I think that's sad.
Yeah. Oh, now they're all there, I believe. I don't.
Yeah, he's all here. Oh, wait, maybe not.
There's Rook and Polans.
Yeah, I've seen Roebuck soft lock, but I've never seen Roebuck go this slow.
Yeah.
You know, gold, that's not gonna help. You have to go back and get Roebuck. Oh, dude. He just reset.
He resetted the whole level.
I'm not sure why.
Ooh.
I don't think he knows that Roebuck was far back. I think he forgot about Roebuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Hopefully he isn't soft lock again on this one.
I just put a
Roebuck was
comment
in.
saying like Roebuck was right there, gold. But yeah.
That's a shame. So hopefully he doesn't get screwed over by AI again.
I don't know, normal. Bah, fuck my life then.
Basically, to explain, the enemies can continuously shoot Roebuck because they don't actually despawn. And what was happening was it wasn't actually a soft lock. If Gold would have ran back and shot enemies, he would have continued. But he had killed himself the moment Roebuck appeared, and that's really scuffed because he wasn't paying attention to the map, and you could see like all Roebuck coming up, and when Roebuck appeared, he That's when he
Oh,
died.
mais j'ai pas de chance. Putain. Les grenades.
So he could have probably been fine, but he was losing a lot of time on the split, and so I guess it doesn't really matter if you reset or.
Notice how I said before that this is one of my least favorite levels. Let this sort of be self-explanatory on why. This level, most of the levels are reliant on good RNG with AIs, but this one is over the top with just AI being scuffed.
Ah, ça veut pas quand ça veut pas, ça veut pas.
This level is like extremely brutal, and it will like this is like one of the reset levels, and it's really hard to just get it right and not die consistently. So hopefully he just get the robot good art.
Yeah, this level, the next level, and the level after all are fairly unforgiving. The level after, it's called Blood and Iron. Like, on my splits I have for it, I literally just have it called Hold W, because that's mainly what you do, because you're riding in a tank, but essentially you just hold W, ride in a tank, and hopefully you don't get lasered down by other tanks.
Yeah.
But then the mission after, I believe, is, what is it? Ring of Steel, which is one of the cooler skips in the run, if gold does it, but it is also one of the riskier ones. It doesn't save like it doesn't save like a huge amount of time like Vendetta does. I think maybe a minute at most, but it still definitely looks cool. But with a marathon, I don't know if it would necessarily be worth it.
Hopefully he doesn't lose too much time. This isn't actually one of the worst levels. This is like bad, but not the worst. The worst is Little Resistance. But coming up, he has to go through like some of the worst levels, like Blood and Iron, Ring of Steel, Eviction, and Black Cats. And on all of those, you can just lose a minute to one death. And on Blood and Iron, if you die, you lose 3 minutes because it checkpoints you to the start of the game most of the time. So he has a huge time save that could happen, but he can also lose a lot of time coming up. But I'm pretty sure, knowing how Gold is, he will save a lot of time here because he plays
And
very safe.
yeah, and like Black Cat, it's I was saying before it's actually hard to die. That's a bit harsh. You can definitely die when trying to play through the level, but if you die, the checkpoints, at least if I remember right, they're pretty few and far between. But yeah, thank
Good
God
on that.
Robux here.
Yeah, thank God, because you would have saw Gold start saying really French bad words. I don't know if he is. I don't personally speak French, but I'm
Really
pretty sure.
French,
Yeah.
really French bad words, not really bad French words.
Oh, really? Uh, he's
This
gonna say
man
a
is
curse.
very French.
Yeah, he is extremely French. We promise you that.
So yeah, this level, Blood and Iron, you drive in a tank and you're supposed to destroy like certain things, but no. If you just drive through and don't die, you're fine. You don't need to destroy anything. Like at the end of the mission, it'll actually tell you objective failed, but you still finish the mission for some unknown reason.
I think that they did that because of the difficulty of the level. Like if you were
Yeah,
to play it correctly, it is one of the hardest levels if you play it correctly.
I
Oh
don't think
god,
I've
he's
ever
going up the
played through it
middle.
normally.
It's hard to play it through normally because the tank's laser pointer but he's doing it so bad. For the optimal route, you want to go far right, and you won't get hit at all. But he's going up the middle, which can save like a small amount of time if you do it right.
But it's risky.
Yeah, and we're
Balance
talking
yourself.
like a second time save. We're not talking about like 5 to 10 seconds. It's like a second at best to 2 seconds.
Oh, his tank's getting yellow.
Yeah, but he's not on red. If he's at this point and not on red, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, you see next to his mini-map, that tank that's yellow? That's essentially his HP, but his HP slowly regains if he's not getting hit. Like normal. Regains, replenishes. But, coming up here, this section can be a little bit annoying, but I would say this section and the very last stretch are two of the most annoying parts of this level, just because even if you do it how you're supposed to, you can either get shot maybe like once or twice, or just get riddled with just rocket after rocket. And so far, it's not looking too bad.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
just
made
hope.
it pretty safe through. If he was going to die, he would have gotten like 18 tank shots to hit him at once. But
Yeah,
he's doing pretty safe, and well, he's been running pretty safe. He's not going to get hurt at all, hopefully. So, funny moment, I dropped my headset off my head.
how?
I leaned over because I dropped my phone because I was looking up one of the IL things I wrote down, and I dropped my phone, bent over, and dropped my headset.
I've dropped my headset so many times, like the cord's gotten caught in my chair that two parts of it are actually being held together with Gorilla Tape.
God dang.
I'm
Oh,
too
I'm
lazy to
sorry.
buy a new one.
Excuse
Foul
excuse
language.
yeah, excuse my foul language. I did not mean to say that.
Not to mention you've sworn like 10 other times.
I have?
just, just a little casual, but it's all good. Yeah, here's like the end cutscene to this level one. Like we were saying, riding trains. There's no actual like gameplay of riding trains. It's just all cutscenes. You exit this level on a train and then enter the next one on a train. So
There's actually a removed level that was actually based off of this train section where you and Reznov will shoot through the windows. That's why you see like the little window sections, and it would be about the same length of Black Hats where you would shoot the train and stuff, but they actually removed it very early on, where it was only in like the alpha copy of the game.
oh, I feel like that'd be cool. Except I'd rather not do
Yeah.
another Black Cats, but
And something a lot of people don't know, which even surprised me to find out, that this game is somewhat ripped off of another game that Call of Duty has made called Roads to Victory. And Roads to Victory has about the same level layout as World at War. Like it has extremely similar level styles. It has extremely similar uh level playthroughs. Like Black Cats, there's a level on Roads to Victory that acts just like Black Cat.
hmm.
And it's called Lucky 13, but it's actually longer than Black Cat's because it's 14 minutes long and not uh
Not 13 like it suggests.
yeah, not
Oh,
what
he
all
got smacked a bunch by a dude, but good checkpoint, thankfully.
yeah, he didn't get fresh spawn checkpoint. So this is when we were back on the level. I'm sorry, I had to go back. I don't know why I don't remember it. On Their Land, Their Blood. Back on that level, there is actually a possibility where I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. You jump through a window, and in this section, there's actually a window you can do the same thing on, and we do that to actually do the skip that's on this level. This is another level where we go out of bounds to skip a huge portion, but the skip has 3 different softlocks you can do, and it takes a very accurate jump to do, but I'm pretty sure knowing goal, he's not gonna go for it. Just because
Yeah,
of the
I don't
fact
think
that
he's gonna.
it's a huge risk factor to take.
Yeah,
Where's
it's really cool, but it's really risky.
Yeah, and he's not going for the window jump.
Ça, par contre, ça va pas le faire si j'ai pas de balle.
Oh, at first I thought he was running up to the window. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. For the window skip, you want to come out on. He's going for it.
Oh wow.
Wow. He's actually going for it. Impressed. So, the window skip involves walking on the banister on the outside of the window, then jumping through the window. And then you have to climb up onto the out of bounds section. And that whole top part, even though it's invisible, has a roof. Oh, he got the first jump.
Oh, there he goes. All right.
Oh,
I didn't know you could walk across that. Oh,
he did it. Oh my god.
wow.
That is really impressive to do in a run.
That wasn't like aisle strat, but oh my god, that was
Yeah.
wow. Good
If he dies
thoughtful.
here, he checkpoints already, so he's fine.
Yeah, this part right here through this courtyard is really infuriating. The AI can be really annoying. Like aisle strats, you would just sprint through them, but that requires just
Multiple
god RNG.
resets. Yeah.
Yeah. He already got the objective completed before even getting to the stairs. Wow. So
You know what? Yeah,
I
he's a little
imagine he
bit
won't
behind.
soft lock.
Yeah, I don't see him. Well, this level doesn't really have a soft lock.
I mean, it's not a soft lock necessarily, but if you go just slightly too fast and go up those stairs before the the objective complete, you would have to go all the way back outside, then go back and trigger Reznov and the tanks to move, wasting easily like 2 minutes and some change.
And if you jump down, you can't get back up.
Yeah.
Which, at that point, you have to restart the level.
Wow, I'm surprised he didn't get meleeed there.
You can go back up. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a straight drop down and not an angle.
Yeah, didn't get the soft lock or I guess time loss, but yeah, essentially this section he has to just get to the end of the street without getting shot down, and then it'll just trigger Reznov's final speech of this level.
Yeah, Mix found out that the tank that moves into the left can crush you and instantly kill you.
Don't worry about it.
I wonder how Mix found out that the tank to the left can, crush you and kill you. Also, if he goes too far forward, he will die.
Yeah,
So,
so please don't do that goal.
yeah, it's an instant death. They actually removed that barrier on the co-op version because a lot of people think you're supposed to run to the end like that, like he was moving forward. But the game actually wants you to stay back and not do that.
Oh, I
Okay,
was so confused. I saw explosion. I'm like, wait, what? And I
yeah,
realized he's on French. So,
yeah, it's eviction or not fiction. So eviction's premise is actually extremely simple, and he didn't actually have to shoot that guy. But
yeah,
um, basically, it's really just running by enemies until you reach a section where you have to wait for a tank to move up. But this whole part is like super littered with the worst enemy spawn. Like there's 12 in the first section right there. I wouldn't say 12, it's like 6. Oh, he got good jump where he didn't have to do the grapple.
micro time saves.
Yeah, saving like what a second. That I didn't know you can
Oh,
go through that little crack.
wow. He did not die.
Yeah,
Jesus. Playing it
gold.
safe.
Yeah, he's playing it super safe. This AG gun, you don't actually have to stop and shoot, and you can continue. You can continuously run by him, and he won't actually kill you. But you have to be extremely good at strafing for him not to kill you.
Yeah.
But this final part going around this bend is the most brutal because of just the amount of enemies. Oh, he's going for the safe strat where you go left instead of through the right.
Yeah, I never go through the right. I always die there, no matter what.
I can get it consistent. Sorry, I can get it consistent because I don't I've played the level like 100 times trying to grind for a good IL RNG.
Yeah, I'm not very good at this level, but yeah, right here, you have to wait for the tanks to catch up and then shoot down that building up there, and then you guys will end up going into the sewers.
So there's a little bit of a time save he's going to be coming up to do, and uh, hopefully he gets up there in time because the tank's already shooting. But you can get into that little room and you're not actually supposed to get in there until the tank's done shooting off. But if you get in there while the tank's shooting, you can throw down a grenade. But I guess he's just not going for it because you can just instantly die. Watch Gold know like a skip that we don't know, and he just teleports to the end of the level.
Yeah,
I'd believe it. Gold's getting super smart about stuff like that. And then you have
yeah,
to gun
I
down those
praise
three
Gold for
guys.
going safe strats, because at least personally, I do runs like a little bit less safe than this, but I also have like way more resets. My actual finished run ratio is god awful.
Oh yeah, same. I think I only finished like 2 runs out of like 180.
Yeah, same just about.
You basically like reset every time you die until you get to like black cats nearly.
Yeah, he's going left sewer side. Smart dude. Left side of sewers, amazing. Even though it's
Yeah, the left side
lower.
has
But
less enemy spawns because a lot of the enemies spawn on the right side, but you also have the chance of, not dying, which is really good for. And he's going super safe by going through the office buildings.
yeah. Oh, almost got meleeed there. Yeah. Gotta make sure because enemies can jump up on him from behind. Yeah, he's good. So this section is essentially just shooting down enemies until Reznov comes in, tries opening door, and then he doesn't open the door, and then you guys get hit with a tidal wave essentially.
Non scripté là, tout va bien.
Oh yeah, the tidal wave is just amazing. Basically, the premise is the Germans don't want to lose the train sewer, so they just flood it with water by blowing up a dam, which you'll never see the dam for some reason. But
Yeah, this next level after this might be a little bit. eh. Next level is Black Cats, which is the most hated level in the game, so much so that uh, co-op runs, 2 levels are removed just because the game removes them, which is Vendetta, the sniper mission, and then Black Cats, just because the game isn't compatible with co-op for them. So we actually somewhat recently made a category called solo co-op, which you play solo but only do the missions that are meant for co-op, which essentially skips this 11 and a half minute plain sequence of a level. It's essentially just an auto scroller.
Bien reçu. Starfleet, bloc. Au poste de combat. Choisissez vos cibles.
this level is actually horrible in every way. uh,
It's actually a very fairly cool concept of level. Like I liked it when I first played through it when I was younger, but
it's not a good
speedrunning,
speedrun level.
yeah,
The worst part about this level is it's 11 minutes.
yeah,
That's really the worst part is it's 11 minutes. If they would have cut it down to like 6 or 7, it would be an awesome level because this is a real slow point where you've ran for an hour thus far and you can start like working yourself down so you don't, start getting stressed out and angry, like becoming not like consistent. but it's 11 minutes. So this whole time, it's just like for 3 levels you ran, it's basically the length of that. But if you want to hear the gist of the story, this is the American side, and you're going to go save some of the other planes that got gunned down. And once you actually reach them, your plane can go into the water and sit. And so you have to shoot down these gunboats that come up. And once they reach you, you either have to pull them out of the water, which is RNG for how long it takes, and if you pull him out of the water and the gunboat's just shooting you, you or the dude will die. And it's okay if the dude dies, but if you die, you reset all the way back to once you hit the water. So you can be at the end of the gunboat section where you're in the water, and it will checkpoint you back all the way to the start. And that's like the worst point of like the whole game is if you
Yeah,
die.
my split for this on my live split for this level is actually just called snack break, just because it essentially is. But you still do have to look at the game a bit, because if you just sit there and do nothing, those PT gunner boats will shoot you down and you'll die. But there is sort of like kind of a funny challenge on this level, either destroying as many of those PT boats as you can, and also destroying the Japanese Zeros, which are planes that fly around and some of them kamikaze into the water, but none of them will actually hit you. And I think the most Zeros I've ever seen destroying was like 38 or 40 or something like that. And PT boats, I don't even know.
Oh yeah,
It's
the
not
world
really
record
that
for
high.
PT boats is like it's a really high number because they just endlessly spawn and they
Yeah.
just won't stop. So that's why. Ooh, I don't know why my phone just did that. I'm sorry, y'all, if you heard that. I ain't got nothing to say for this 11-minute level. Man, this 11-minute level is super long.
Yeah, looking at a casual walkthrough of this game, there's a veteran mode playthrough of Black Cat, a video that's 12 minutes. So that just shows you how little time you can save on this level.
I hope Gold is running like a live split in the back so you can keep track of his IL splits because I wonder who has to retime this run once he's done.
I don't know, with how how annoying his what was it? Relentless, I think that's the one that he soft locked on, or not soft locked, but
Yeah, it was
robot
Relentless.
goofed up. Yeah, that one lost probably about like 5-ish minutes, so
He lost like 7 minutes.
it was a lot of time. But that one might lose the PB, but still
Yeah.
not on too horrible a pace, honestly.
Well, he didn't die on Simplify, Little Resistance, Hard Landing. No, did he? No, he didn't die. He didn't die on Vendetta. I don't think he died. He died like once on Their Land, Their Blood. He
But it
died like,
was like a small time loss.
yeah, and then he only died like once or twice on Burn 'em Out. His 45 the order. Right?
Yeah, so it's not that bad of a run, honestly. Just with how slow this level is, it's just, uh, it's annoying.
Oh yeah, this level. Uh, that's actually why we made solo co-op because of the fact that this level exists, and even though a lot of people love Vendetta skip because it is a really great skip. It just it's the better of two evils, and that's why nobody wants to run Black Cats because it's just such a bad pacing for the level. Oh god, I have to pull up.
Yeah, so I don't know if it is it possible to not have that other plane be destroyed?
No, It always
I
gets
think
destroyed.
Yeah, I thought so, because on the wiki it says player determined for like several people's deaths, but those people might be the. Oh wait, no, it says KIA, so that might be the people you rescue from the water. Never mind. Yeah, these are people that you rescue from the water. Never mind. But yeah, this other plane that you fly next to, they just eventually blow up, and you go down to the level of the water, saving people if you wanna. Right afterwards, you see
You
them just sort of coasting down.
you can either save them or just let them die.
Yeah, yeah, you'll hear them like say like yelling like "Help me" or "Save me," blah blah, and it says like press F to help survivor, and you can just sit there just shooting, ignoring them. I don't even know if it's a time save or a time loss to save them or what.
uh, I think Tanya said a while back it's a time save to let them die.
Oh really? I mean, for this level, I'm pretty sure world record. What is world record? It's like an 11:12. Oh, 11:16, and I know on my splits, my best time was an 11:06, but I think that was also during the time when the ASL was a little bit buggy, so
Yeah, I
don't know if
wonder.
it's actually fast or not.
I don't know how the ASL could get buggy. Who would ever make a broken ASL?
That's a bit interesting, you know? Yeah, honestly, even if it was a time saver or time loss, I don't really think anybody has the the
There's
will
not.
to actually
Yeah, it's
study.
just
Nobody
such
wants
a
to.
it's such a bad level. It's ironic because the first time I've ran this level since like 2010 was during one of my runs, and I got like a 13-minute one, and I'm like, I'm not playing 80% anymore. So that's why I tend to stick to like ILs or solo co-op runs.
Yeah,
Mm,
let's make
y-
solo co-op the main
Yeah,
category.
if you guys want to get into this game, run solo co-op just so you don't have to sit through this level.
Yeah,
But this is what we
definitely
were talking
introducing
about.
this game. Skip this level.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, where he's pulling them out of the water. We don't actually truly know if it saves time to let him die or not. But you see how the gunboats are still pulling up. If he pulls one out of the water while they're sat there, he will die. Like he has to shoot them before pulling them out, which you can get lucky and pull them out before they die. But that's an RNG that's just hard to manipulate.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is nearing that end of the level, sort of like next few minutes. But the entire end of this level is sat in the front seat where he is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the level only has about a minute and a half to 2 minutes left.
Yeah, but may as well like start talking about next level, blowtorch and corkscrew. Uh, this is another American mission, and blowtorch you obviously have like the flamethrower, and it's pretty fun, but it is also one that is enemy riddled, and it's a little bit difficult to deal with that as you're blowing up bunkers, trying not to get shot down. So yeah, those planes that he's shooting at, those are Japanese Zeros that if you were to hold tab, he could I'm pretty sure see like his progress on how many he's killed. It's just a little like almost like an incentive thing just to see how many you can kill.
Yeah. It's probably like the only fun part about the level, which it's
Yeah.
actually ironic because you know how I said earlier that this level is stolen from the Road to Victory? They
Yeah.
actually keep track of how many planes you kill. And whenever I was like practicing on Road to Victory and like running the game a little bit, I got up to like 500 kills for the planes or something like that.
Jeez.
But
So
I
yeah,
think yeah,
back
that's the
to
end of Black
gameplay.
Hats. Yeah, back to actually good gameplay that doesn't revolve sitting. So
So yeah.
blood torch
Uh,
and corkscrew. Oh, you want to do it?
no, no, it's fine.
No, you got it. Go on.
I was literally just gonna say this entire map is just like in a rainy downfall or rainy jungle almost, and it looks cool, but a lot of the stuff is just blocked by bushes and grass. And it's
Yeah.
kind of ironic that you're using a flamethrower to kill enemies, but the grass is like, yeah, yeah, we're still fine. We're not burning or anything.
So if you see gold is playing extremely safe, but if you saw for a couple of seconds, he pulled out the C4. So the whole first premise of this is you have to throw C4 into foxholes. I think that's what they're called, or bunkers or whatnot.
Yeah.
And you have to blow them up. On co-op, however, we also found out that sometimes the co-op C4 won't trigger, and it just won't explode.
Oh yeah.
So it's actually faster for this first section to run with C4, but of course, if you're running with C4, you don't actually have the ability to protect yourself, and you will just instantly die if you get lasered. And uh, it doesn't help that there's like 13, 14, a huge amount of enemies spawned in, and then the AA guns all targeting.
Yeah. So like the thing you was talking about with the co-op being glitchy with the bunkers, I don't think we ever looked too much into that to see like what the causation of that is, but essentially it was me, another runner named Salad and Kuno doing a 3-player run. We got to the end of the sequence and realized one of the bunkers didn't even blow up. And it just turned into us like, no, I blew it up, you blew it up, blah blah blah. And we still don't know what happened, but as far as we know, it might just be like buggy with like maybe servers or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the first one down. So he just has to run in, put his flamethrower down, so essentially just like lowering his defense a bit, and
There's
then just
actually
throwing in.
there's actually a soft lock on this level. Um, if you run up to the door as he kicks it, he just won't kick it, and he will never kick it. That's after you blow up all the foxholes, firstly. But if you throw it, it'll instantly just. I mean, I thought I'm sorry. After killing them all, and if you run straight to the door, it'll soft lock. So I'm pretty sure Gold has learned his lesson as he's done it about 3 times now.
Oh wow.
In runs before. So he's asked before how to not to do it, and we had told.
Yeah. I don't know what's with this game and opening doors and like to soft lock you, because like on Breaking Point, there's another door that Roebuck also opens that sometimes if you run through the door as it's being opened, for some reason your hitbox is like, hey, let's go inside of the door, and now we can't move, and
Man,
you just get stuck in a corner for no reason.
you're giving me flashbacks when I was running with Salad.
Yeah, that happened to me on like a PB run like 2 years ago, and I was so mad because I had never seen it before, and you just hear me. I'm like, is this a soft lock?
Me and Salad were actually on world record pace to that point, and I got clipped into the door, and he uh he just looked directly at me, like sitting on the ground, basically just in the floor, and he just got extremely mad.
I don't blame him. It's frustrating getting stuck on a door as you're trying to run through it and realizing the entire run's dead.
Yeah. You
So yeah.
could theoretically finish the level without me, but I was actually blocking the door, so he couldn't run by me.
Oh.
But coming up after destroying them and kicking the door, he has to go and kill all the enemies within one of the foxholes. It's 3 layers, and it has a lot of tendency to not actually let you burn some enemies because they have invincibility until they reach a certain point. And most of the time, you won't actually reach them until they're already having the ability to be burned. But sometimes they'll just be on fire and shooting you still, and not react to being burned alive. So that's the
Yeah.
only problem with that.
Yeah, if you're too fast and too good at this game, there's a downside. You're suffering from success. You're too fast.
Yeah, which a 118 in game time is not. I mean, 118 RTA getting to this level is not too bad.
Yeah, especially with this being the end of this level.
Yeah, with his RTA being like a 136.
Yeah, he still needs to kill the enemies on the roof. Can't
Yeah,
forget about those dudes.
yeah, those are like the most important ones.
Come on,
You
go.
could theoretically go through without killing the first or second floor people and just going to the third and fourth, but that's also RNG based, so that's why everybody just kills them.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. A good rule of thumb, if you saw at the bottom left in the minimap, there was that circle with a star in it that shows where the objective is. As soon as all the required enemies are killed, that sort of disappears. So that's sort of what I look for. If that's still there, then just keep searching, kill an enemy, and if it disappears, you're basically good.
Oh, here's also back when we run Little Resistance, we were talking about cutscenes. This is one of them, where you carry a dead soldier into a truck.
Voyez le bon côté. Après ça,
So yeah, the next mission, Breaking Point. Uh, it's Breaking Point's a fun level, but it is also okay. I can't keep saying this about every single level. RNG fest mainly, but this game isn't entirely RNG like we're making it sound, but there are definitely some points that are just janky with enemies.
The thing is, every level is RNG. Like, the
Yeah.
whole game is practically RNG based, but it's not like as bad as it like we're making it out to be, where it's like always bad. You will consistently get good RNG no matter what if you just do certain things right. And Gold, like that's why me Mitch were super surprised at the very start where he went like 5 levels without dying.
Yeah, it just depends on how safe and how consistent you are at playing.
Yeah, if you play extremely safe, you're not going to die, and you're not going to lose a huge amount of time. You might not get the world record, but it's an easy PV and an easy sub like 120 if you do it like that. But the most major RNG tendencies are just the enemy AI and your team AI. But the team AI, 98% of the time, is super lucky. And what happened to Gold on Relentless is like super bad RNG, and it just like that's like the only point where it was super bad. Like he did get some bad tendencies, but most of the time he's actually been doing pretty good. This is just like one of the more common runs.
Yeah, and when every single level essentially we're saying like, oh, this one's bad for RNG, this one's bad for RNG. It's not like any one is like necessarily way worse than the other, different than the other. They're more or less all the same thing, just like how good your friendly AI are at like catching up, and then how aggressive the enemy AI wants to be. That that's essentially what it comes down to when like dying or losing time. Because good RNG, there are only a few times where it can like really save time, That was strange. Got like one tapped by that dude. But there are only a few times where good RNG can really save time, like on say, God, he's getting one tap by that dude.
Oh yeah.
What level is it? The level where you're waiting for Reznov to run to the end with you.
Oh, that's Their Land, Their Blood.
Yeah, yeah. Good RNG can save you a little bit of time there, just because Reznov can be a little bit annoying trying to catch up. But
I didn't even know there was a
typically,
guy
this
in that
game is.
window on the top.
Yeah, I ain't either.
Oh,
Typically,
to
this
answer your
game is
question,
just not trying to lose time.
Kluger asked, what is going on there? Is WoW just bad? There's a tendency where some enemies, if you're going too fast, will have an increase of bullet damage. So because he's running super fast, the damage is ramped up super quickly, and because of that, he just gets lasered. But in some cases, and enemies can do it occasionally, but it's extremely rare. An enemy can melee you and shoot you at the exact same time, and it'll instantly kill. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that's not what was happening to a gold in that situation.
yeah.
In this
So
part, you can go. I'm sorry.
I don't know necessarily for sure if this is true, but it feels like uh either the bonsai chargers, their typical melee attacks, not their like stabbing ones, but their melee attack do less damage than an average person, like an average enemy. Because if you saw before, 2 times in a row he died just because some dude smacked him in the back of the head. But then there was also, like on a hard landing, for example, how he didn't die. There were times where the bonsai charger, if you would have seen from like a third person perspective, he was just sitting on like his back, just smacking him in the back of the head, and he was barely taking damage. So the melee damage, I don't know if it's like inconsistent or if it's just situational, like Gold was or Kuno was saying, shooting and meleeing at the same time.
Yeah, it's super unlucky if you get it because it's an instant death. Like melees from behind, no matter what, are an instant death because they kind of treat you like an enemy, and that's what just happened to Gold where he got melee. But also, uh, Activision and Treyarch still have this problem where if an enemy melees you, there's no downtime between his melees. So if he melees you once and then a second goes by, he'll melee you twice. But it's not really just a second. It's like he can melee you within like 20 frames. Every couple 20 frames he can melee. So it's just super bad. So like every 0.2 seconds he can melee you or something like that, which that doesn't seem like a lot, but for someone to double melee you, that's an instant death. Like you can survive one melee and be perfectly fine and be full health, but the second melee will instantly kill you. And this section, it's just basically just kill all the enemies. Wait for Roebuck and Polanski to reach the end. This is actually one of the second longest levels because you have to go to an underground section and then you come from underground to the other side of the building. And once you're on the other side, it's a 5 minute waiting game for you to have your airstrikes respawn in.
Yeah,
And
for some reason the last gunning section is super long.
yeah, and the door that he just ran past, like at the like going into this building, that's the door you can get clipped into if you're standing right next to it. So that's why I kind of saw Gold be hesitant to like run into it instantly. And this is probably like one of the worst parts of the whole game, as there's red barrels that enemies will instantly target if you're close to them. They start spraying you if they can, and overall they'll just be completely wanting you dead, which is like kind of the whole premise of the enemy AI. But this is the easiest difficulty, mind you, and on other games like Modern Warfare 2, dying is super. It is common, but it is super easy not to die. This game, you will just die for practically no reason.
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily if enemies are coded for it, but it feels like sometimes the enemies don't necessarily shoot at you. if there's a red barrel next to you, sometimes they'll target that and just shoot it, and in turn, obviously killing you. But it's more just unforgiving AI rather than just like them like being like really glitchy. It's just if you take your time or go like safer routes, then obviously it's a little bit like more consistent. But right here's a toss up. You can either save Polonsky or Roebuck. He went with Polonsky. Wow. Roebuck is a guy. Howdy. Let Roebuck die.
Guy howdy. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I wanted to see what was Treyarch's first game, and the first game was Call of Duty Big Red 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they made Call of Duty 3, and then they haven't made a game until World at War. And a lot of people don't know this for some reason. I didn't know it as a kid, but Reznov originates in World at War, and he's also in Black Ops. And as a kid, I never made that connection for some reason, even though World at War and Black Ops were consistent games for me to play as a child.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I really didn't know that. Like, I didn't know Reznov is in both, but I also, being, 11, not paying attention to the story too much.
Yeah.
But this whole section is you have to wait for an airstrike and you have to hit the building. The one on the left you have to hit once, and the one on the right you have to hit twice. On co-op, you can fly by this level because both of you have an airstrike. But this is actually the only level that's coded for airstrikes correctly because of the fact that they remove the co-op person's airstrike if the first person uses it, but they don't do it right away because they don't check for it until after the first airstrike is overhead. So if you time it right, you can actually get both airstrikes off within a reasonable amount of time. And if you have multiple people, you can actually finish the end of the level practically instantly if you just hit a lot of them in like if you hit them consistently. But I think the best that we ever did was like getting it one time out of like 12 or 13 runs for 3 people. So
Yeah, it's just like more communicating with each other and when you're gonna call it in. But for solo, you just have to call it in once and then just sit there for the next like 45 seconds waiting for the airstrikes to be ready again.
yeah, on um Little Resistance, it's the only other level with consistent airstrikes. I don't think there's any other level with them. But on Little Resistance, each player has their own, and it's programmed just for them. But we're thinking that it was just bad AI program, and they didn't do it, or they did it intentionally like that. But this is the only level where it's coded like that, compared to just the other one with it. He's actually been doing extremely good. I don't think he's died. Well, wait, I'm sorry. I don't think he's died after the first part, so his second half of this level is actually pretty solid.
Yeah, the second half of this level is definitely like in the harder part of it, I think, personally.
Oh, who
It
did
just
he choose to
gets really
save?
difficult. He saved Polonsky.
Oh, of course he. Everybody saves Polanski. um,
But
Basically, he had to make a decision to save Polanski or Roebuck, and this cutscene, Mix were talking about it. We don't know if it's faster to have Roebuck saved or Mix saved. I'm sorry, not Mix. Roebuck or Polanski saved. But we're pretty sure it's the same. Just they switched out the voice line and the player models.
yeah, it looks like the exact same end cutscene too anyway, so I don't think there's really any difference. But here going into the second to last level, the last two levels are both in the Russian campaign. Heart of the Reich, this one where you and Reznov, as you guys are exiting the sewers that were just flooded, you guys end up storming the what is it? I can't even think.
I don't know what it's called either.
Oh no, you're just storming the building, more or less.
There's a German government building, I believe, or are we still in Berlin? I don't
Uh,
think we're still in Berlin.
yeah, on the wiki, in the final push towards the main entrance of the Reichstag.
Yeah. So, this level is bad, to say the least, because only recently we fully kind of figured out how to save a huge amount of time for it. But uh, the first section is literally a death trap because there's like unironically like 12 enemies all in one corner that's the size of like uh the foxholes that we saw earlier. You can go in that building.
You didn't know that?
No, I never thought about it.
Oh, wow.
I play very linearly. Like I will watch the IL and do exactly what the IL does.
Uh,
And like I only stray from it when like I'm like, huh, maybe if this will work. And I never thought like going through the building would work. And he even got like a good checkpoint. Damn, I don't know what I'm doing now. But you kind of saw Gold die because just how brutal this little corner is. And he's actually getting extremely lucky that none of the enemies have meleeed him because enemies will just go straight for a melee if they can. Like they will be a mile away from you and they will attempt to just run to melee you. So he's gotten extremely lucky. And here's like the final skip you can do. I think he's not going to get it, but what he's doing is he's trying to run up. Oh, he did it.
that was weird.
Yeah. Um, what you're normally supposed to do is you run and then you strafe into it and it launches you upwards, like kind of like a ramp. Like when you're skateboarding, you'll like um kick the board, then you'll go up the ramp. But the same thing, but instead of going forward, you're doing it sideways, and and then you get on top of it. But what he did was kind of just like do a slide around the dude that was blocking him, which that's super uh luck. He kind of got
Amazing metaphor.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, purée.
Oh, yeah, and that was an example of just annoying AI. Threw a cooked grenade right at his feet. But if you've seen what he's done, he's running around to these flak 88 guns, these AA guns essentially, and planting explosives at the base of them. And after he does that, they go up to the main entrance of that building, and you mainly just have to wait for Chernov and Reznov to catch up, and then you guys can enter it, triggering the end of the level. Uh, just a little while ago, we figured out if we can eventually figure out how to get out of bounds, there is sort of a way to skip this end sequence, this entire like ending where he has to just kill them slowly, just wasting time. Because I'm pretty sure after you even kill those 4 AA guns, if somebody can get past that barrier and just walk to that door, it just triggers the end for some reason.
Yeah, this is one of the only levels where they put the end uh checkpoint there, not end checkpoint, the end uh trigger there because they don't expect you to just run through the fencing. The reason we don't try to clip through the fencing is it goes all the way up to past the height of the building because Activision did not want you. Well, Treyarch, I'm sorry. Treyarch did not want you. And here's the AI kicking. But Treyarch did not want you to go past those fences. So in almost every fence you see, it goes infinitely high. Like some of them you can jump over because that's what they were programmed to. But all of them that are meant to block you or stop you from getting on top of them to go out of bounds, they're all just as high as you can go. And it'll intently just block you from going anywhere.
Yeah, most of them reach essentially to like the skybox.
Yeah.
But what he has to do here is just keep killing them as he waits for Reznov and Chernov to catch up. Then once they catch up, they break one of the pillars of the main entrance, and then with the explosion of that, it breaks down the fencing, and he can run to the end of this level. But right now, it's mainly just
Murder.
shoot. But I don't know if there's a soft lock on this part, but there was a part happened to me a while ago. Oh, he didn't get it, thank God. Reznov got stuck in one of the buildings where he doesn't even go normally inside of the building. He was somehow upstairs in the building for some reason, and he just wouldn't move. I had to push him off the ladder.
It's probably just like really bad AI pathing.
Yeah, yeah, right
But
here,
he's
end
getting
of the mission.
yeah, but he's getting like really bad RNG on that. This whole final part, if you don't have the ability to go out of bounds, which we haven't found yet, you can theoretically, the faster you shoot, kill people, the faster the level goes because Reznov won't get staggered as much because he will stop and shoot. But if there's nobody shooting at him, he'll just run right through. And that's how you save a lot of time is make Reznov not get shot at. So that's why you see him just like switching really back and forth and shooting. And that's really like the only level where uh I wouldn't say the only level, but it's like one of the main levels where it's just based on how fast you are on like killing people.
Yeah, so this level is the last one in the game called Downfall, and takes place literally right after the next level. Like that door we ran through at the end, you spawn on the other side of it. But this level, we're mainly running through the castle, just killing enemies, and uh, just trying to wipe out all of the Germans from this building. You'll see him like sniping some of them from a balcony up above, and eventually at the end, we just plant down the flag, and that would be time.
Yeah. Downfall actually has like one of the most consistent manipulations, and this whole level is really not even RNG based. It's just based on how well you play. And he's skipping the sniper. Oof. Um, but one of the major things about this level is a lot of people think when you're up on the balcony you have to kill everybody. All you have to do is kill people on the right side, and they'll spawn in like 4 or 5 times. But after you kill all of them, there will be a voice line which will trigger the enemies to spawn across the balcony, which is why you have a sniper rifle. Is its intent for you to shoot the guys across the balcony. Uh, when they spawn in, you can actually get a lineup, and they will all instantly die. And I've only gotten it like once or twice where you get a line like
Yeah,
that.
it's a little bit difficult to get.
He got really bad luck. One the enemies that spawn on the right can sometimes get stuck behind stuff, and they'll just like endlessly walk into it until they finally move. And he got it like really bad because it happened twice thus far.
I'm surprised the enemies across the balcony haven't. Oh, okay, there they are.
Yeah. You have to kill like all the guys on the right and a little bit of them in the middle, but you can get lucky and just kill all the guys on the right and they'll spawn it.
Yeah, the actual spawn for them isn't the most understood thing, but
Oh,
not
he's
sure
doing the
why
safe
he's
strat. I mean, it would be a good idea. Oh, that actually is a really good idea to wait for Reznov to kick the door up and shoot the flamethrower guys. So we didn't mention this on the last level, but the flamethrowers, if they hit you, even for a second, you instantly burn to death, and you lose a lot of time. So for Gold to go like out of his way to shoot them before the door fully opens, that's actually a really smart idea because he's not gonna burn. Like right there, he got
Yeah.
burned and it instantly killed him. And on the end of Heart of the Reich, which we didn't mention it, you run by a flamethrower guy that kills Dimitri, and I'm sorry, when if he hits you like with the flamethrower, you instantly burn to death.
Yeah, and
And
shooting the dudes with the flamethrowers, you also have to be careful because when they die, the flamethrower on their back explodes, and that's also instant death.
so there's a skin that Gold found at the store, and it's actually insane. So if you push against the door while the enemies, the teammates, surround it to try to push it in, you won't have to wait for them once the door's open, and you can just run by, and it saves like 5 seconds because they will block you for such a long time.
Yeah,
And
it saves like 5 to 10 seconds, but just iffy on the collision. Yeah, he didn't get it, sadly. The collision
yeah,
on your teammates can sometimes just not work in
you
your
want to
favor.
stay, like if you go to try to do it, you want to stay towards the center. He was kind of off to the right a little bit.
Yeah, that
And
was another
here's,
example of getting one tap meleeed.
yeah, where the melees just come in and just wreck you. He might be underestimate by like 30 seconds.
I don't think so. This last section is a little bit longer. Yeah, the
Yeah.
last the walk up for the placing the flag and the fight sequence between Reznov and that dude alone is like 30 seconds.
I mean, all he has to do is get to the end in about a minute, and he'd be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Still really good run nonetheless, considering uh some of the bad RNG things he got, especially on like Relentless and such.
Yeah. It's an overall really decent run. Which, if I'm doing my math correctly, which I'm not sure if I am because I'm not good at math, he got a 139 RTA, at 139 in game time. Wait, no. He got a. I have to think. The level's hard. It's hard to remember the length. He got a 136 in game time, so that's actually really good. Like for the amount of deaths he had, a 136 is extremely good, to be honest. And I would really chalk it up to like his very start of the game was just like extremely well done.
Yeah. And right here, the time for this game happens right on him placing this flag
Yeah, he's not going to overestimate too
right
bad.
here. And yeah, that's game. Good stuff for Gold. That was pretty clean run.
Yeah.
Showcase the Ring of Steel skip, which I'm surprised he actually did it really well. Scared me in a few parts because how many soft locks are in that alone.
Yeah. And he also didn't die doing the skip, which is even better. And he did it on his first try in a run, which is super
Yeah.
amazing.
45-11.
Pratiquement dans les stings.
So I think that's it.
Yeah. Shout out to Gold. That was a really good showcase of the run.
Yeah, shout out to Goldley. I'm really impressed by how well he handled himself. Even with losing 5 minutes, he still got a really good time.
Yeah.
Oui, pardon pour l'écho. Alors attendez.
Hey Rocket,
Oh,
do you should we leave this chat?
oh, you don't have to leave yet. I just wanted to hear you guys with no delay, so I know when it ends.
Oh, he had finished the run, so we don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
The game's really over. I like shout out to Gold, the Call of Duty community, I guess.
Yeah, and thank you too for the great commentary. Really helped me understand what was going on. So, same thing for our viewers, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention that. I'm sorry. I'm going to mention something real fast about strafing. Gold wasn't showcasing it because he probably didn't hear me talk about it yesterday. With strafing in this game, it's like run strafe, then jump jump, run strafe, jump jump. But it loses a lot of time compared to like runs like Modern Warfare 2, where it's just run strafe, and it saves a huge amount of time because you can consistently get like 360 speed on every movement. But in this game, if you time the run jumps correctly, you can actually get like 3 or 4 jumps while running. And if he would have done that, he would have saved probably like 2 minutes overall, just because of how fast it is compared to the normal way.
Yeah, like the stamina cooldown in this game is definitely very harsh compared to like MW2 and like Modern Warfare.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know the difference, but Treyarch sticks to like the Black Ops game series, and they kind of go on their own path compared to how Activision handles Modern Warfare. So the engines are actually kind of split up after like Call of Duty 3, and once that split happens, it's like 2 completely different strafing methods. The melee systems are exactly the same. The strafing and how AI works is completely different compared to one another.
I'd say that about wraps up World at War.
Yep.
All right. Thank you both for doing that. Up next, we will have Black Moxie playing Sayonara Wild Hearts. So everyone stay tuned while the Baguette stream goes to intermission.